Hello, hello, hello. I'm sweating right now because it's like 90 degrees out, and I don't really want to turn on air conditioning because it's freaking hot, but I feel like being overheated is a bit of a good thing. Well, anyway, that's why I look terrible right now. I'm just sweating. It is in my state. It is hot. It is just muggy, and I don't want to turn on air conditioning. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about some stuff. Disappointed in the right. The Manosphere is pathetic, and summer heat. Okay, so start with the obvious. Disappointed in the right. Right wingers, can you be just like practice just a tiny bit of trigger discipline with this situation I ran with fire? You're asking for trigger discipline for like not getting into a war. Fair enough. Can we just ask for a little bit of trigger discipline with not attacking each other on this? This is a really stupid thing to do. There are good things and bad things about Trump. He's been pretty solid on the foreign policy stuff. Um, from a conservative perspective. No wars so far. Got some renegotiations done of tariffs and stuff and trade deals and whatever. Trust the guy just a little bit on this Iran stuff. It looks to me like what he's gonna do is he acted all tough. He's basically forcing Iran to make a deal. They're gonna make a deal. There's not gonna be a war. Preventing Iran from getting nukes. Hopefully we can get them as an ally. That'll be nice. Get some trade deals. More peace in the Middle East. We don't get the same constellation of Iranian-backed armies in the Middle East, destabilizing things. Iran is weaker. China, no, sorry. Well, Iran's obviously weaker. Russia's weaker. China's weaker. Everybody wins. That's a pretty good outcome. You're basically saying, "Oh, we should just not even threaten anything." It's like, no, threatening people doesn't work if you immediately renege and say, "Oh, we're gonna be nice." That's not how it works. That's not how Trump has ever worked, ever. Even if you hate the guy, he doesn't work by just backing down and stuff. He does what he's going to do. He says you're not going to get nukes. You're not going to get nukes, and he's been saying that for 10 years or so. So, like, his plan actually makes perfect sense. Good cop, bad cop. Israel is bad cop. America's good cop. We present them an out. They have to take it. Get a deal. Everybody wins. They don't get nukes. It's a perfectly sound strategy. Instead, a lot of the right, and even people I actually really like the Lotus Eaters, are kind of like, "Oh, Trump is betraying the movement." No, sir. Trump started this movement. Okay, it's his movement. Yes, he has a lot of succession and stuff. He's going to be backing away from the whole politics game within the next 3 years. When he gets voted out of office, when he ends his second term, he has shown no indication that he wants it. That he actually wants a third term, and it's going to get passed on to somebody else. Maybe Marco Rubio, maybe JD Vance. But you're only like not showing any loyalty whatsoever towards somebody who's really done a lot for the movements you believe in, right? As conservatives. You're not showing any loyalty. You need to be like, I'm not saying you're being loyal to the man, but like, if he does something truly egregious, we should stand up against him. But this isn't that. This is just negotiations. And the fact that so many people I like Lotus Eaters, Tucker Carlson, actually, I don't really like Tucker Carlson, are just like blasting him. It's like, just trust him a little bit. You're not helping anything by being against this kind of negotiations. You're not helping, and you really see that by the fact that like the rest of the Middle East isn't really standing against Iran. They're kind of like I don't even think they like opposed it. They're just like, yeah, Iran, you run out of steam doing this to the whole region. We don't want this anymore. So yeah, just like practice some damn trigger discipline. Like, don't always just immediately start attacking your own side. The left doesn't do this. The left does not immediately forsake their own side as soon as there's a bit of chop. They do that too much. They should back criticize their own side more. And I really respect the people on the left who do because they're rare. Bill Maher, John Stewart, so on and so forth. Fetterman. Um, but that doesn't mean that a little bit of just hesitation to throw your own side under the bus is not warranted. So yeah, stop it. Take a chill pill. You can state your opinions, but you don't have to turn on your readers. It's just not smart. It's not a good move. And also, like the populist fight. I'm sorry, you don't have the votes. You have like 25% of the electorate. 25% of the electorate is more like center right, and that's probably where I am. You can't win without us. Sorry, you can't. And we're gonna hold you to account and stop you from being too stupid, no matter how many anti-Semitic things you come up with. Anyway, next my criticism. I know I just spent 5 minutes talking about don't blast your own side. Well, I'm going to spend 5 minutes blasting my own side because the Manosphere is pathetic. Yeah. I don't really consider them part of my side. To be honest, I don't think despair is a conservative emotion. Is a strong emotion. I don't think despair is a masculine emotion. If you're in a state of despair, that's fine. I've had despairing moments, a lot of them, over the course of my life. It's not something to brag about. It's not something to advertise. It's not something to spread. It's something to fight. Um, and what I mean, so there's different avenues you can go through this. First of all, the whole agitate thing. I mean, are you sure you want to support somebody who basically cucks other guys? Is that really your idol? Somebody who sleeps with the partners of other men? Is that really the person you want to be holding your banner? That kind of dishonorable person? And he's like, "Oh, I'm making people like me." I'm sorry, no. It turns out you can't actually sustain a civilization based on a few people being uh, professional fighters and then being pimps. That's not a sustainable model. If everybody did that, to provide his veil of ignorance on it, the society would break. It wouldn't work. That doesn't. What you need is you need to have a society that works, a version of masculinity that works for average guys, or at least not average guys, but like guys who have normal jobs, like plumber or engineer or accountant, not pimp. Sorry, that's not. That's pretty fucking obvious. Not to mention the amount of damage he's done to the amount of women he's trafficked. Um, Basically, even if they're not trafficked per se, he's still like I could get in trouble with this. He's still setting them up to not be happy when we marry people. And if you're conservative and you say you like tape because you're conservative, you should be pro marriage, right? Marriage is a conservative institution. You shouldn't be trying to tear it down. Um, And then the whole incel group is kind of like, "Oh, we're so sad, we're so miserable." I'm sorry. The whole point of MGTOW, from what I understand, is that you're happy going your own way. It's men going their own way. Like that's me. I watch anime, I play video games, I do this stuff, I have a job, I have friends, I have family. I'm pretty happy right now. Not perfectly, I'd like to have a wonderful life, but I don't, but that's okay. But these people who are like just miserable in this, like that's kind of simping, sir. If you're just obsessing over women not being in your life, you're not doing it right. You're kind of just being a simp for not even a real woman. You're being a simp for an imaginary woman who doesn't actually who's not actually in your life. So what exactly are you doing? You're just being pathetic. And there's some parts of and Jordan Peterson's whole thing. Always be honest, guys. It's like, well, sir, you had a fentanyl addiction because you were sad about your wife having cancer. Like, I feel bad for your situation, but like, you're in no position to tell people about masculinity if that's what happened to you when you had a little bit of emotional angst. Now, there are some people on the right who like, but they tend not to be the people who are self-identified as manosphere people. Like the Psychax guy is pretty cool. The Daily Wire guys are pretty cool. Plenty of people on the left, I guess, are pretty cool. Um, there's probably leftist masculine people, I'm assuming, but they tend to not to self-identify as manosphere per se. It's kind of like what I was saying about like the MGTOW. It's like, yeah, I get the idea of being happy on your own terms, but like when you make it into a movement, you're just being kind of pathetic. So I'm kind of just sick of that entire movement. And like, does it help? The question is, does it help? And there's good advice they have, but by and large, I think movement just kind of tells men to despair, which isn't a masculine thing. Masculinity has been defined in many different ways. Despair is not, in my mind, a version of masculinity I want to replicate. Hope is much more masculine than despair. And hope can be an ugly thing. Hope can be like gray and miserable, and you have to be tough. But it's hope, not despair. Anyway, I don't even consider them conservatives, to be honest. They're just they make some good points, and there's some things that need to change society, but they're not going about it the right way. Finally, summer heat. So, as I was saying before, it is freaking hot. I'm in Atlantic State, and it is like 90 degrees out and incredibly humid, and it's actually rather nice earlier when it was raining, when coming in from the rain, it was really nice. But right now, it's just miserable. But I do kind of, and I'm also in the third floor building, so heat rises, so on and so forth. But I kind of do wonder if like this is what humans were designed for. Like humans are meant to be sweating, right? Because that's what we did for most of our existence. If something was true for 10,000 years, it's probably something we're adapted to. And if you don't have the thing you're adapted to, you have negative consequences. So if you don't exercise like 8 hours a day or whatever, you your health disintegrates. If you don't eat real food, your health disintegrates. Maybe if you're not exposed to heat like this during the summer months, your body disintegrates. And I kind of wonder about this with reference to saunas. They have saunas. Saunas basically have all kinds of health benefits. They basically increases blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, an awful lot of things that prevent dementia and Alzheimer's later in life, as we know. Um, doing which is very similar to a sauna, being freaking hot. Like really, really, really hot. And I kind of have to wonder if like the current how many people have dementia and Alzheimer's. And some of it's probably just like fact that we're living longer or what have you. But one of its parts the fact that we're not experiencing summer heat the way we should. Like sauna is basically just a way to make you hot and sweaty. And if there's an organic way of doing that throughout your day, maybe that's actually a healthy thing. Maybe we should get rid of air conditioners. Like if you do look at different areas of the world, some areas use air conditioning a lot more than others. Maybe we need to get rid of it, or at least not use it as often. Maybe it's healthy to sweat. Maybe looking like this and looking like drenched in sweat and miserable. Maybe it's actually kind of necessary to be healthy. Just a thought. There's a lot of things like that where like you are being uncomfortable is actually a good thing. Like there's a reason why cold showers are taken on as a thing to do. There's a reason why, and the fasting every Friday Catholics used to do, where you just wouldn't eat or you just have like a piece of bread or something once a week. Turns out fasting has all kinds of benefits. All these little traditions people had that made them a little bit uncomfortable in the past. We got rid of them all because we're being modern and sophisticated and make things easy. Well, it turns out those things are actually very, very useful. I'm reminded of the pork prohibition of the ancient Jews, ancient Israelites, where they wouldn't be able to eat pork because it turns out they look back, it's like that actually protects them from a lot of diseases. I wonder if there's like a lot of things like that where we are making ourselves comfortable and therefore making us miserable. Um, I actually kind of wonder if you could probably you could extend this argument too far, to fertility questions, like demographics and stuff. I'm trying to keep this channel away from that conversation, but you can imagine situations where we make that area of our lives easy, and it actually makes things a lot worse, both the male and female side. But I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to be one of those guys. But think about it to yourself. Okay, what uncomfortable things can you do on a regular basis that would actually be healthy? Like, I'm not saying you, I don't know, start whipping yourself every day like the Opus Dei does. But hey, maybe you should try that. From what I understand, Opus Dei people are pretty strong in their Christian faith, Catholic identity, and Christian faith. Maybe you should do that. I mean, I don't have any whips on hand, but I get it. It's like maybe it works. Maybe it's a useful thing to do. Um, but you can't just punish yourself. It's not punishing yourself. That's why I think it's okay. You got to watch out for the punishing yourself stuff. But maybe it is true that you can go with a bit more discomfort than you're used to. And your body adjusts to it. Like the human body is much more strong than you think it is. You're stronger than you think. Why not touch your boundaries a bit? Anyway, that's all. Cheers.